Well, good evening. So we're 4 for 4 now. This is the last installment for God's Not Dead. And we are picking up at about, let's see, where are we? Right at 1:30, actually, 1:30 to the end. So I'm going to review a little bit. I just started about maybe 3 minutes back, just for a little quick transitional review. Um, and then pick up where we left off. So if you're watching on YouTube, then hit pause right now and go watch the rest of God's Not Dead, and then come back and we'll be here waiting for you.
Ah,
All right. Well, I think there any surprises? What did you think about the grand finale?
I thought it was good. There were some surprises.
yeah.
Kind of predictable at some point, though. But I think that's how a kind of movie like this kind of had to be.
Sure.
But I think they wrapped up all the stories pretty well. All the individual stories all kind of meshed.
When I replayed that little tiny bit when the professor met him in the elevator and said, "I'm going to change it up." I don't know if you realize this before, but he actually got in the elevator and rolled the elevator down, so he'd be on the elevator when Josh got on to ride it
Oh
back
yeah,
up.
Oh,
he wanted to be there with them. Yeah.
But he didn't
So,
really change anything up.
no.
So,
One thing that changed was he wasn't at the professor's lecture, and he had his own out in the center of the thing.
yeah, I
He
think
didn't
the
change
other
that.
ones, the implication was that remember he was standing up with the students, that he let
Mhm.
Josh do his thing and didn't talk.
Mm.
He
Mhm.
didn't say anything, but this time he was gonna heckle him
Yeah,
to
He, he,
try to get him to make a mistake or fail or whatever.
he
That's
until
tried
they
to
got
rebut him.
until they got beat,
yeah.
and he walked away sheepishly. Seemed to me he was walking away sheepishly.
Well, he's that I think I can't remember who it was that called it last week. Last week that obviously he had a lot of pain. He had a lot of anger and hurt, and no way to get it out. Just
Right.
stuck in a place. His grief is what's held him back. And a lot of people walking around like that
Yeah.
can't explain why their wife died or the child died or their parent died, and they're so angry and about it that they turn away from God, but they're not. It's not that they don't believe; they just are angry. It's sad things. Sometimes the devil allows the perfect life. What do you think about that?
Mm.
that's what I said. That was the comment that I quote a lot.
Mhm.
As that really, especially when I saw it the first time, was just amazing. I don't know. It was just impactful.
Yeah, yeah, but the sad part was, what kind of an impact did it have on him?
Yeah.
None at the moment.
None whatsoever,
Uh,
unless we have a sequel and he's in it.
you can you can hope that he's like Jeffrey and makes a change in the end. But right now, no, no.
Either we have to have the same situation, a
Yeah,
death experience,
Yeah.
yep.
for him to make a change like that.
Would he have done it if he were not going to die? Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
would not.
no.
No, I don't think so.
No, and that's with that quote, there's no atheists in foxholes, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's that I'm about to die and it's all coming to an end and I have to, we strip away all the junk, the accumulation of our life and get down to the only thing that matters. And that's that last moment. So the
Just like
pain and yeah, yeah,
all the people you visited over the years, when they were right at the end, and they were trying to tell you the same things.
yeah.
You spoke about
Um,
that before.
a lot of the people call me in because um, they wanted to tell me that uh, I visited everybody, so I'd seen most of these people before. Very rarely was it a cold call at that point because the people that were dying in there knew they were dying before they died. So I would see them, maybe for a week, something like that before. But they would call me in to tell me that after they saw me the first time or came back the second time, they would call me back to tell me how wrong I was. and how stupid it was,
Oh,
and
well,
how, it can't be true because of XYZ. And I realized pretty quickly that the only thing they were trying to do was they're giving me an opening to convince them otherwise. They didn't have to do that. And it didn't take much to convince them because they didn't want to not believe. They wanted, in fact, they still believe, but they couldn't activate it. So that was the more of the but then there's no violence, not violent deaths like that road death in the hospital.
mm.
So
Yeah.
more of a contemplation and then a slow decline or quick decline, but not unscheduled. So you don't have time to do it. Yeah. No, I like that. I like the mother, you know, she's because I think what they're trying to say there is that anybody and anything can be a witness to God. And it comes from places you don't expect and you wouldn't imagine and you didn't think possible. So the theological dictum to see God at work in all the things of the world, all the things of your life, all the things of the day and the night, everything that goes on. If we're looking for God's presence in everything, then we're going to find it. And if we're not looking for it because that's just too mundane, that's just too, God wouldn't be involved in the, I don't even think about God in that group because it's a crowd of people, blah, blah, blah. That's, of course, if God working in those places, we'll never see, never be aware of it. So you're looking for words of prophetic utterance from his mother was not an expectation, but God would use that time to do exactly what he did. So it's for us, that's a lesson. Another one of the times when the lesson is to look around and start giving God credit, more credit, and seeing God at work in our lives. And that includes exactly things like that, where you see something or hear something, and in that moment you stop, and it kind of jogs your spiritual memory or your spiritual life, where you think about God for a moment, and then you keep going. And the idea is not like Jeff, not like the what was his name?
Josh,
Can't remember. No,
Sure.
the nasty guy, his son.
Oh,
um,
no. We'll just call him that guy.
Yeah, Dean Cain.
Yeah.
That's the actor.
Superman.
So I'm not like, yeah, not like Dean. He heard it. It was amazing to him. He was incredulous, and by the time he got in his car, it was who cares?
mm.
It's all done. So for us, it's that we don't stop it. We cultivate it. So when we see something that makes us think of God, instead of saying, "Wow, that's God," and then keep on going, we linger, we string it out, we dive into it a little bit in our own hearts and minds before we just let it go. Make it more an active part of our life. Devil ain't. Oh
Was
yeah,
was that guy the one that was the woman with dementia's son, right?
Yeah.
Dinky.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
He's the one that's got the message and threw his phone in the back.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, it would take an awful lot to convince him.
yes, yeah. He was the meanest guy he knows, and he's happy for it. He's proud of it.
Yeah.
That's just ugh.
At least he
Um,
recognizes that he's mean, I guess.
yes,
That
yeah.
might be
There's some
that might be a first step. I don't know.
sure. There's honesty in there. And he actually has a pretty good chance because his mother was that much of a witness. And he already said, "You were the best person I ever met, the nicest person I ever knew." And maybe when it comes his time, and he'll remember that and to honor his mother, maybe he'll find his faith. Never know. The door is always open. And I think that's the lesson there. The door is always open. God never shuts the door, just like David said in the street to Jeffrey, it's never too late. It's the option, the opening is always there. Remember, the scripture says that there's more rejoicing in heaven for one sinner who returns than for 99 sinners who are there. And the number 99 is meant to mean an infinity, because you already have that. It's just like if you have a couple things, but you have one more and you can misplace it. When you find it, you're so happy you found it, but you have two more of them. finding it is a bigger deal.
Hmm.
Finding the missing one is a bigger deal than having the ones that aren't gone. And so God's got those people, the ones that don't believe or are trying to stay away. That brings God a lot of joy to rejoicing that they've come around, even if it's the last moment. That's those deathbed conversions that everybody hates. I don't like that. It's not fair. He shouldn't be able to go to heaven. He was a rotten, stinking person his whole life. And then you're telling me that he was dying and he said some 3 words and then now he's in heaven. That's not fair. But remember Jesus and the parable of the workers, the ones hired in the morning, hired in the afternoon, hired in the evening.
Mm.
And he says, "Who are you to criticize me for how I treat those who work for me?" You don't. That's not. You're not in your right place. If you're doing that, you're not thinking about me. You're thinking about yourself. This is your thing. You're upset. Your insecurity. Your self-focus.
I remembered more, but I didn't see it, that David told Jeffrey, "You wouldn't believe what I've been through for me to get to this moment in time, and I know God put me here for you." And I thought he said that, but he didn't say that.
He just said, "God put me here."
Yeah, but I just remember him like we know what he's been through. A
Yeah.
car not starting randomly like 10 times.
Yep. And that's
But I just remembered it a little bit differently.
that's fun. Your memory's good. Keep that. Keep the one you like.
Yeah, I mean that's what he said.
Yeah. No, I think that's really this is a strong message that they're trying to give us in this video. Just Josh and me. So the only thing I felt bad for Josh, or I didn't feel bad for. I was kind of surprised in Josh that after he met Aisha standing behind him,
Oh, yeah.
that he didn't say, "Hey, here, come stand in front of me,"
Yeah.
Yes.
because
That's
she
what I
couldn't
was.
see anything.
Yeah.
She's like this tall. It's like, dude, you should have let her get in front of you, man. That was not good.
Not supposed to leave your assigned seat.
No, they're all just standing around.
It
They're
was just,
standing on the
yeah,
floor.
it was open floors.
It did kind
Yeah,
of look like open floors. I've not been to a concert like that, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
No.
when you're talking about, the deathbed confession conversion. I had can't what was Deborah's last name that used to
Miller?
be? Yes, Deborah Miller. So she changed my mind on that in a meeting. I don't know. We were talking about, like I said, it's not fair for someone who's murdered 10 people or, whatever, to be in prison and then, they spent their whole life as an atheist or a rotten person and not caring about anything. And then, they all of a sudden become believers. And the thing she said was, or, and they don't have to be murderers, but just, somebody who's committed a lot
Sure.
of crimes or violent crime, any crimes, spent a lot of time in prison or whatever. But her point was that what must their life have been like that made them think this was the way to live? Like that murdering in some cases, murdering was okay, or,
Yeah.
stealing, whatever they were doing was part of their growing up. And that's the way they thought life should be, or that's the way, they knew how to survive. And that they didn't have the opportunity to have a life with God.
Right.
And so their life on earth was not, wasn't, uh, like we that grow up as believers or whatever, we are given probably more of a privilege of having that life with God that they didn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of the thing that the seduction of being alive is that this stinks. And it doesn't matter how good it is, it still stinks. It's the toil and the worry and the heartache and the entropy. Oh, we all love entropy. Breaking down, continually breaking down. That's just all life is. There's a song, Roger Whittaker. Anybody remember him?
Yeah.
Great, great baritone, great guy. He sang a song that said, "The moment that you're born is when you start to die." Entropy, just that's it. Well,
Fun.
it's not supposed to be like that. We're not supposed to worry about cancer and illness and not be able to sleep at night and our legs hurt and our back hurts and we can't hear anymore and all that stuff. We're not supposed to do that. And no matter how good our life is, it's not supposed to be like that. And you think about our life, we may live a certain amount of comfort and happiness. I've got this stuff and I'm happy in my house and I'm happy in my bed and I've got a nice place to sit and I'm not in danger. So this is pretty cool. And this is great. And if this is counted by God, with us saying it's great, this is kind of by God as being trash. We think it's great. God's like, no, nothing's like this. Isn't nothing like it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to have problems with each other. We're not supposed to be falling in and out of love. We're not supposed to be, ignoring each other or indifferent to each other. That's all. But how does that happen? Do we get emotionally worn out? Do we get emotionally, disconnected from ourselves so that we can't connect to anybody else? That's right. And everybody does it to a certain extent. We don't have a real explanation for it. So as good as we think it is, it's not. So then you take the people that Catherine's talking about, who have the other side of the coin, inner city people or out in the country people that have nothing, live a terrible life, and turn toward the extremes. And that's really all this is. People that are criminals and do terrible things are just going to the extreme because their whole life is propelling them, to the extreme. There's no direction. There's no guidance for them that is positive or affirming. So they just have to keep going to the extreme to find out where it ends. Can't stop now. I got to keep going. And where it ends is usually for those people in jail, right? Kill 10 people, kill 3 people. So they've got no direction, no guidance, nothing works. And they keep going to the end until the end gets them into prison. And in prison, what do they have? It's a paradox. They've got guidance. They're controlled. They've reached the moment where that direction and that control, their whole life that was missing, that allowed them to go to the extreme, is now there. And so now that they have the walls holding them in, metaphorically and physically, they're free. So their mind starts to grow and their spirit starts to grow, and they're not chasing the extreme anymore. And when they're opening themselves up in their mind and their heart, God, who's always been there trying to get in, is finally allowed in. So it's taken that horrific event, horrific channel of living to get them to a place where they're not allowed or don't have to follow that extreme anymore. I mean, when that happens, they slow down enough to hear God.
It's
And we experience
it,
the same thing. But
it,
go
it
ahead.
it shows that there's no limit to God's grace. There's no
Absolutely.
limit. We can't put a limit on it.
Yep. Yep. We live under a lot of false impressions about our own life and about the world that we live in because it's comfortable. That's actually what the mom was saying. The devil lets you live a comfortable life. And we think of Dean Cain. That's what
Mm.
that's what she meant, what God meant, right? How about your life? How about my life? It's comfortable. So what does God want us to do with our lives? The only thing God wants us to do with our lives is to love him, love Christ, love Jesus, love him and be like him.
Love
So
one
anything
another.
else what?
Love one another.
Love one another. Yeah, anything that gets in the way then of growing in Christ likeness and being more like Christ and loving God and loving your neighbor, loving each other is the devil, right? So the devil's letting you live a nice life because the life that you have doesn't push you toward that. The comfort just being here, having a nice place, not worrying about the rain. I'm also not talking to God. I'm watching a movie. I'm sitting doing other things. It's just it creates a uh, a false um, a false positive, a false success, and everything gets stops me from going in the depth of my relationship. It's just that there's people like Dean in his role, and the 10-person murderer that Catherine brought up. They're the extreme example for us, but maybe they're worse than that because they make us feel like we're doing all the right stuff, and they're the ones doing all the wrong stuff. But I like that. I think we saw that in the pastor. I really think that pastor was a jerk a little bit. Didn't you think he was I mean, not only a little bit of a jerk, but I really can't get over the way he treated that poor cheerleader girl. That was just wrong. And the and that thing about the faith about putting his suitcases in the trunk. It's like he didn't want to do. It's like faith. I'm not going to do that. He's like, what's wrong with this guy? Is he burned out or what? So I think that they did that to show that look how close he is to God. Look how close he is to what you're supposed to think that, he's reading and preaching and doing all these things all day long or every day or something. And still look at him now. He's not quite right there. He's not living it. So yeah, I think that's a
I
good
think he
lesson.
might turn around a little bit now. I
He
think
he
that
does, doesn't he? Yeah,
it was for him as well.
that's right.
That the timing and that's pretty impactful, a pretty impactful moment.
Yes. My, I think I've told you a story. I won't make it a long one. My mentor, Dwayne Thibault, is priest in, actually, he was a senior priest in the Episcopal Church. He was the senior priest in the Episcopal Church for about 10 years. Um, and he called me from Bakersfield in a parish that he took, and he said he was upset, and I asked him what he's upset about, and he said he spent his whole life in bouncing around from troubled parish to troubled parish. He had like 9 parishes. And he said, um, my ministry hasn't done anything. I haven't done anything. I get these parishes that are in trouble and I leave them and I don't know what happens to them and nobody ever tells me and I never find out what's going on and I don't know if my words have had any impact or my counseling has done anything. I don't. It's been for nothing. And of course, I'm on there saying, Dwayne, oh my gosh, you just look at me. I am in a large part a product of your love and your attention and your devotion and your faith. And it's hard to get people out of their depression when they kind of want to be in it. Kind of it's comforting for a little bit to get kind of depressed and stay there. So don't want to hear good things from people. You just kind of like, oh yeah, I know. Well, I prayed for him and prayed for him. About 2 weeks later, he called me back on the phone and he was all excited. And I'd be like, oh, what happened? Something's happened. He said, yeah. I said, he was in Oceanside, California when I was there at Camp Pendleton. That's where I knew him first. And he said, this guy showed up. He came in my office and he said, he told me his name. And he said, you don't remember me, do you? And he said, no, I don't remember you. He said, well, I was 20, I was 18, I was 17. I was going on 18. And my mom made me come in and sit with you. And we didn't go to your church, but she made me come in. And for an hour, I sat in your office and you talked to me for an hour because, and you told me all about Jesus and God and all that stuff. And when the hour was up, I was just so happy to get out of there. I said, I called you a bad name. I said something bad to you. And I walked out the door. I told my mom that I was done with it. And I was a part of our deal that I did that for her. And there was no miracle. I didn't become this great guy. And he said, so my life just went on. And by the time I was 22 or 23, I had gotten in multiple problems with the law and finally bit the dust when I robbed this old man or something like that. So I've wound up in prison. And I've been in prison for the last 9 years. And he said, the first couple of years I was angry and I was, upset and I was a mean person in prison. And then in a couple of years I was despondent and depressed about being in prison. And he said, during those next several years, when I was quiet and before I went to sleep at night, sometimes wishing I was dead, I could hear your voice over and over and over again. And I didn't know it was your voice. I just couldn't stop it though. So the long story short, he told him, I said, I became a Christian. I was saved. I was, wasn't rebaptized. I was blessed. I became a help to the prison chaplain. And now I'm out and I'm working with a chaplain out in San Diego with men that are getting out of prison to help them get back into the society, give them a place. And he just said, Dwayne's like, that was God. Obviously, that was God. When he is at his lowest point in his ministry of 48 years, thinking that he hasn't done anything, and then suddenly this guy shows up out of nowhere to tell him that he saved his life and that his becoming who he is today was a product of being sitting down in a room with him when he didn't want to hear him. So that's a profound witness of God working in Dwayne's life. I mean, it's just an amazing event for Dwayne and amazing event to hear. So how often does something like that happen? And I don't think we notice it. And I think when we do notice it, when someone tells us that, we get embarrassed. Like, oh no, it's okay. It doesn't have to be something great. You were the best teacher I ever had. Oh no. No. We should hold on to that a little bit more, a little bit harder. Noticing that God is giving us those moments to make life full. Well, this was great, guys. Now we're going to meet next week and we'll decide what we're going to do. Remember, July is our month off. We usually don't do anything, so we have those weeks before July to figure out what we're going to do to fill that. I know that somebody had another idea about another video to watch. We could do that, just make it a lot faster, or whatever. So think about that for the next week before we get together again, and we'll see what we decide on Wednesday night. And if you have an idea and you want to push it forward before Wednesday night, so that if everybody comes, we get to Wednesday night and it's proposed, everybody goes, yeah, let's do that. Then we can just do it. We can start it right there. So if you want to propose something, let me know so that if we all agree to do it, we can start right then. We don't have to wait another week.
Yeah, there's a couple
Sound
extras. When we decided on this one, I had a couple others I wrote down. Mere
Okay.
Christianity and the problem with pain.
Yes,
So something we can talk about next week.
we can certainly do
Or anything
either
else.
one. And those are great because we can start listening to the read it. It's like screw tape letters. We listen to the audio book and read the book at the same time if you can. And I really encourage doing that because you can write in the margins and circle things and make little stick people in the corner. That for the things that are stick with you. And I don't know about you, but for me, when I hear something or when I read something, if I write in the book, I know it's like that's a literary crime, right? Writing in the book. But if I write in the book, I remember it better because I have interacted with it. It's not just something that's bouncing off me. I'm actually part of it. So I know that sounds horrible to do that, but it's your book, doggone it. So you can do what you want with it. So yeah, Mere Christianity, Problem of Pain. Look them up if you want to. If you don't know about them, remember they're both C.S. Lewis. Mere Christianity is MERE. It's Mere Christianity. So he's going back and saying, here's the building blocks. Here's the base of your faith. He starts with the base of the faith and the arguments for it and against it, and then builds on it. So it's a Mere Christianity. And the Problem of Pain is we worked out a little bit in our last program, saying, why do we have pain? How's God involved in that whole process? If we have pain, where's God? And he takes the long route. So it's much more sophisticated than what we did. All right, I'll have those on deck. What's that?
Would we have time to do that before July?
No, we'd have to split it.
Okay.
Yeah. If you wanted to do something just for 3 weeks.
Yeah, we need something short.
Yeah, something short and then pick up those fresh when we start in August and run nonstop, that might be a better deal.
Okay.
Because I would forget everything if we split it over an entire month.
Yeah, that's good. Good point.
We could do the next God's Not Dead movie. and split it into 3 parts.
Is there another one?
Didn't you
Yeah,
say there
there's
were more?
I think there's
there's
several.
4 more.
I
Four
haven't
more.
seen any.
Yeah,
I
four
haven't seen
sequels.
any
Okay.
of the others. I've only seen that one.
Well, I'm interested, in that if you want to do that, I think I told you, see the little thing here.
I have to check some previews on YouTube or something.
The prof didn't die.
What?
Oh,
No.
Looked like he wasn't breathing in me.
No. He lived through it. He went to the hospital and they brought him back.
Brought him back. Okay.
So the 4th God's Not Dead movie after all this time is The Professor.
Wow.
So
Well, I'm
It's his-
voting for that.
I would like to see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we have to watch 2 and 3 before we get to that one.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, the 2 and 3 have nothing to do with him, obviously.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
just, he's not in those, but
Are the
it's
other
4th
people
one.
in those?
I think some of them are, but of course not all of them. I don't know who. I think David may be in it. I'll have to go back and look at the jacket and see what it says.
Can
But
we
yeah, I was
start
shocked when
the
I saw it.
second
I'm like,
one? Can we
What's
start
that?
the second one next week?
The second one
Yeah.
instead of the 4th. Is it his one or the second one in the line?
Well, the
second one.
second one and then the third one and the fourth one.
Okay. I'll have them both on deck. How's that? We'll make a final choice next week.
So
I'll read you. We can read about, or in this week, look at the reviews for the second one and the 4th one. Just go online, put up God's Not Dead 2, God's Not Dead 4, and see what you think. One, I think, of course, 4 with the prof, right, with Gregory, is a direct continuation, I think, from when, what happened to him next. He gets, he comes back to life. What's next? Whereas God's Not Dead 2 is a continuation of the story, but it's not the same context. It's just the story
Oh,
it's really focuses on David. So David's the one there's the string that carries through.
Yeah.
it sounds
Both
interesting.
of them are completely viable opportunities. So you decide. Look at them and then
wow.
we'll do it next week. Next week, if you say we've all decided number 2, I'll hit the button. It'll be number 2.
Why don't I just read them real quickly? Here's a summary.
I'm sure
Number
looking it
2. High school teacher Grace Wesley
Oh,
comes under fire for answering a student's question about Jesus.
Yeah.
When Grace refuses to apologize, the school board votes to suspend her and threatens to revoke her teaching certificate. Forced to stand trial to save her career, Grace hires young lawyer Tom Endler to defend her in court. Endler devises a powerful strategy to show the jury the historical significance of Wesley's classroom discussion. So that
and in that movie is where Lee Strobel is a guest. They put him on the stand as Lee Strobel. Remember he wrote the book, the Proof for God. So they put him on the stand to say, what's the proof for God? Which is a pretty cool scene.
all right, and then 4. So I guess that's not real. That's just a different group of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think David's in it. I think he's the person she turns to ask what to do or something like that.
So then the 4th one says the Reverend David Hill defends a group of Christian homeschooling families after they receive an impromptu inspection from a progressive local government official who doesn't like what she finds.
Uh-uh.
All right. Wait, the reason why is because it's got a different title. Hang on a minute. That's
What's
right.
that?
It's
So
not
God's
called.
Not Dead, We the People. Is what
Yeah,
it
it's
says.
it's not God's Not Dead. It's got a different title. Hang on a minute. Let's see. What was it? Shoot.
Are you sharing something in that scene?
No, I'm trying to find it.
Oh.
If I can.
David travels back to Washington, D.C. to testify in a landmark congressional hearing that will determine the future of religious freedom in our country for years to come.
Right.
Taken aback by her interferences.
What's the name of the actor that's the professor? Find his name, his real name, and then look up what he's in.
Kevin Sorbo.
Sorbo, yeah.
He was Hercules.
Yeah.
All right.
Berkeley.
I've never,
Three. In the third one, Reverend David Hill faces an unexpected setback when his beloved church burns down, prompting the officials at the adjoining university to try and kick his congregation off campus. Battle lines are quickly drawn between the church and the community as the Reverend now finds himself at odds with his longtime friend, the president of the school. Facing a legal battle, Hill soon seeks help from his estranged brother, a big city lawyer and atheist, in a fight to help rebuild the church. All right, so none of those have
Yeah,
the
it's got a different name. It's strange.
Where's your phone?
It's in the thing, it's in the trilogy thing. It's in the what do you call that? Quadrilogy? What is it?
film
What is
series.
four? Quintetage? Quintology? Oh shoot, I had it written down here and I don't see where it went. Darn it. All right, hang on a minute. I am going to find this.
I don't see him listed as Radisson in any other film. And his filmology here.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. It's gonna be
This is crazy. Wasn't it just your app? Right here, right here, right here. What's the actor's name?
Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbo.
Okay.
You might don't like finding stuff about Hercules.
Under it.
What? Kevin Sorbo. So it's gonna, okay.
All right. Let me see.
Movies and shows. Overview. I need my other glasses. Okay. God's not dead.
Sneaking in.
So
Is
it's
it a
not-
movie called Let There Be Light? Is that anything?
Is that it?
I don't know. I'm looking at it.
Is he in
Yeah.
it?
That's
he's
it.
he's in a show called Let There Be Light.
Let there be light.
Yeah.
Oh. Does it have a review?
Sorbo reprises his role for a smaller cameo appearance in the third installment of the franchise, A Light in the Darkness.
Yeah, not the same one I'm talking about.
So he's in the third one, but the one you were talking about is the second one.
Let There Be Light says it's a plot. The plot follows an atheist who goes through a near-death experience in an auto accident and converts to Christianity.
That's him.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay, Let There Be Light.
Let There Be Light.
Let there be
2017.
light. Okay.
Oh, well,
I
that's
just stumbled
weird.
on that one. Oops, is that me? I'm sorry.
Huh.
Mute. There it is. Apparently I found it on foxnews.com.
So is it God's Not Dead, Let There Be Light, or it's just Let There
No.
Be Light?
Let There Be
Just
Light.
let there be light.
Huh.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's a different franchise, but it's similar plot, I'm guessing.
Yeah, let there be light.
He actually co-wrote this film with his wife.
Almost dark.
Clear spiritual awakening, reconciliation set against the heartfelt trauma of all sincerity and message.
He describes it as bringing lightness to the darkness because the dark hates the light.
Yeah.
Never heard that before.
Let there be light. American Christian film director.
Apparently he's a very, very religious, very faithful person.
Well, maybe it's not the same professor, but it certainly is the same. He took exactly the same. He's a doctor.
Same actor, but same plot, but different character.
Yeah, near-death experience by a car accident, but he lives. Spiritual awakening, reconciliation set against the heartfelt drama. Okay,
Might be
interesting.
interesting. Something to write down.
It's not the same franchise.
Well, no, apparently not.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
It must
I
be
guess he
related,
liked the idea so well that he
Yeah.
because it says he co-wrote with his wife the Let There Be Light show. So maybe he got motivated from the God's Not Dead.
Yes.
Yeah, it's different. So that's my bad. I thought it was the same. Just
So
because
did
it's
he
a
die or
professor.
not?
Yeah.
So he,
All right.
he-
So I guess we
he-
can suspend on that one then. So you want to do God's Not Dead 2?
Oh,
yeah.
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 The school one? It's a good one with Lee Strobel in it. It was really good.
Okay.
All right. We'll start that up next week. We'll do that for the quick 3-week until July. How's that?
All right.
All right. All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. I hope it's a peaceful and sleepful one, not like my
Okay.
last one.
So too.
All
You
right.
too.
I see y'all.
Take
Have a great
care.
week.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Mom. Bye,
All right.
Dad. Being here.
Bye.
Bye.